The third set will be played on Korhal Floating Island. Spawning in the top right-hand position, the blue Zerg from CJ Entis. His name is effOrt, winner of the, I believe it was the Korean Air OSL.
Yes. His opponent, Red Protoss from WOONGJIN Stars, spawning in the bottom left position. His name is sOs.
Formerly known as Shy, actually, back when he was more of an unknown rookie player. Alright, so Shy, it looks like Shy, or SOS, is going to go ahead and put his pylon down there, but bring that probe back. He's not going to scout. This means that he wants to be greedy and get his Nexus out as fast as possible. And it also means he cannot punish his opponent for going for a hatch first, which we've been seeing a lot more of recently from Zerg players, and it's interesting because you can still punish a Zerg player with the cannon rush, but we just don't see that happen in the meta as often from the Protoss.
Now, talking about the overall match today, set number 2, Hero did defeat Flying, and now here's its second player of the big three from CJ Entis effOrt. If he can take out SOS, and if his teammate Hydra can take out Free, at the very least, it's going to be an ace match for CJ. And we've seen this a lot from CJ, where the CJ Entis players, they do really... these three players play really well, and one of these three go out in the ace match and win the game for the team.
Yep, that's true. It's unfortunate for CJ that they don't have as much of a strong... Their supporting cast isn't amazing, and that's one of the weaknesses of the team, probably one of the biggest.
Interesting that SOS actually went for the Forge first instead of Nexus, and the Pylon does... Probe does not get the Pylon down, or
is he gonna is he gonna cannon rush?
I think he's gonna try to do so. The spawning pool is finishing up, and look at this effort. It's gonna scout the positioning of the probe. So
now
it's
he's
gonna be
making
a
a
little
Nexus.
bit, now it's gonna be a little bit more of a mind game between the two players.
Looks like SOS is just trying to play it a little bit extra safe here. effOrt not afraid to go for the 10 pool every now and then. So I guess SOS just respecting his opponent here. I think he planned on going for the cannon rush if his opponent went for the hatch first.
And also that the probe would have gotten there at a weird timing where effOrt wouldn't have scouted it if the hatcher was already down.
Alright, the Zerglings are moving across the map now, and they're going to look around for that proxy probe. And this probe's going to be able to, go ahead and delay that third base for a little bit.
But the Zerglings are already over there, so he's just going to eat away slowly on the pylon that's building over there, and then eventually throw down the hatchery. Well, if he really wants to, he could throw down the hatchery at a different location around the map, but this is the safest to go for.
Last half-second cancel there from SOS. I was getting afraid, but then I was like, wait, he's a pro gamer. He should be fine. And he was.
He should be on top of this game. There's the only thing that he can micro right now is to make sure the probes are mining most efficiently, and just looking at the pylon over there.
Alright, core on the way for our Protoss player, SOS. He is building a Zealot as well behind this. He's got his gas online in the main base as well. So, we're going to see the pretty standard development of PvZ here. And it's been like this for probably since about the year and a half through Wings of Liberty, I'd say. We've gone into a very standard Forge Expand opening from the Protoss side. The Zerg goes for the 3 hatcheries, doesn't try the all-in or anything like that off the 2 bases. And it moves into a very macro-orientated game.
Yeah, the build seems so similar between Brood War and StarCraft2. Earlier in the days, it was hard for... Well, I wouldn't say it was hard, but the 2 things. 1, the maps, and 2, Protoss players didn't really know how to properly Forge Expand.
That's true. It actually, and the maps really did not support Forge Expanding from the beginning, from the get-go. This Xel'Naga Caverns, don't get me started.
I mean, think about... if you guys play Brood War out there, and if you guys played on Python PvZ, think about how hard it was to actually put down the Forge and try to wall off in that area because the ramp, the choke was a little bit too wide. Think of that, and think of it as 10 times worse on Xel'Naga Caverns.
And then imagine having to plan Steps of War as well.
Alright, so in this game, we have a Stargate going down by SOS. He's just going to build a Phoenix, really standard opening. effOrt behind is just droning up heavily, but he knows that the Stargate is on the way.
Indeed.
So all he has to do is build some Spore Crawlers later into the game when he thinks that the Phoenixes are going to arrive at the main, the third, or the natural.
Lair on the way here, and we don't see any Roach Warren in sight. effOrt playing very greedy here. But he knows his opponent's not really going to be doing anything crazy. He's got the map control for wings. He sees the sentries and the Zealot in the front base. SOS playing a lot safer than I'm expecting him to. Generally he goes for something weird, but there is nothing that effOrt can do that really punish his opponent right now.
Yeah, well, he doesn't care at this point. He's just going to macro up. Heavily behind the 6 Spore Crawlers throwing down immediately as the second Phoenix also finishes for SOS.
I want to point out something here. I like that the Zerg players are getting 6 Spore Crawlers to defend against the Phoenix, but eventually we're going to see Protoss players get 1 Phoenix. That's it. And then what they're going to do is go for Robo or 2-base all-in.
And that's a really mind game between the 2 players. Usually Protoss players get up to 5 Phoenixes, but with the 6 Spore Crawlers, it's harder for the Protoss player to actually do some harassment. This queen was just unlucky out of the position from the Spore Crawler. So Protoss players now, after they make 1 or 2, if they start scouting around to see how many Spore Crawlers there are, they can start making less Phoenixes. Maybe one's a little bit out there because, like, you know, making 1 Phoenix and doing nothing with it is like, eh. Maybe up to 3 Phoenixes, and then seeing the Spore Crawler position, they're like, okay, if I make more Phoenixes at this point, it's going to be a waste.
Yeah. Well, we have 4 Phoenixes out here for SOS. Not sure if there's a 5th one that's going to be joining the fun. Zerglings moving across the map. A lot of lings actually from effOrt. And this is going to actually force a cancel on this 3rd base, I believe. SOS was playing pretty safe before, but now this 3rd base is greedy. And I love when Zerg players do this. He's going to force a cancel on the 3rd base, delay it. And if he can do that one more time, effOrt's going to be in a very good position.
That's why you need to warp in some units before you go down to take the 3rd base as a Protoss player.
It's a risk you take when you go for that fast 3rd. And the sentries and zealots are here now. Oh, effOrt getting a nice round. Nice force fields, though, as well from SOS. He's going to allow this Nexus to survive, at least for now. Zerglings trying to go through the main base, but SOS too smart for that. effOrt known for trying to do the Zergling run-bys.
Now, the cannons are going up at the 3rd base, which means that SOS is going to have an easier time fortifying that 3rd base.
Colossus on the way for SOS. Still mainly a Zealot Sentry-centric army here. We've seen Protoss players in Heart of the Swarm get more Zealots and less Stalkers overall, because Roaches aren't the dominating unit in this matchup anymore.
Yeah, but you also have to be careful as a Protoss player. You need constant scouting on the Zerg player. You don't know when the Zerg is going to switch into Mutas, when they're going to start adding in the Roaches against the Protoss army.
That's true.
So you're playing this game where you want to get the unit composition that you want to, a lot of Colossus, a lot of Void Rays, but until you... while getting those, you need to make sure that your opponent is not doing anything sneaky.
All right,
for a tech switch.
effOrt's going to get aggressive here. He's got his Hydras and he's got his Lings on the map here. It's not too many units, but there's still a good amount. And very smart SOS is killed off the rocks there to prevent a double-pronged attack. The Hydra range upgrade, or speed upgrade, about to finish. The Colossus is out, though. And, oh no, effOrt in a terrible position now, losing a lot of Hydras for free. Not the best trade there for him. That just hurt him.
That's going to force effOrt to just play a standard game, just play a little bit more defensive, because he can't apply any pressure at the 3rd base.
I think he's going to go into Mutas. Oh, never mind.
Corruptors. He saw the Spire, so it's like it's like a little bit risky for the Zerg players to go for the Mutas, because remember, the Phoenixes, they haven't been taken out.
I was looking at the resource, or the gas count specifically for the Zerg player, and if you have over 1k minerals and gas, it's very likely that the Zerg player will go into the Mutas, but he decided to, at the same time, go for Corruptors and Swarm Host, which is actually, I think, a good decision here, because there are 3 Stargates here for SOS.
It's actually a better choice, because the Phoenixes are alive, the Colossus are constantly coming out, and the Void Rays are being slowly added in, so... Not a bad choice by effOrt, but this also puts him in a little bit more defensive position, especially since he lost a couple of Hydras.
Well, look at that cannon there. Did you see that cannon?
I just missed it.
It looked weird. I think it was like on... Imagine a cannon built on an angle, not like straight on the ground. If we go back to the main base, I'm going to point it out to you instantly, man. It looks kind of weird. You remember when that hatchery was shown underneath the hatchery because you could see through the ground. I think it feels like the cannon affected that, or the ground affected the cannon.
Well, we'll double check it later, but for now, sOs just fortifying himself in 3 bases. His opponent, effOrt, is getting the Swarm Host out.
Yes. And the energy, or the time upgrade for the Swarm Host about to finish here. Focusing on getting the +1 air attack, the +1 armor, getting the Infestor energy. I've noticed Zerg players nowadays, they are not afraid to just get tech all over the place.
Yeah. And what effOrt needs to do right now is start teching into Hive and think about going for the really late game Zerg play, Swarm Host, Corruptors, maybe some Brewlers mixed in depending on the army composition from Protoss, but also getting the Infestors out for Fungal and the Vipers.
Yeah, the Vipers, I'd love to see those from effOrt. I think that's really what will, late game against SkyToss, separate you from being a good Zerg or a bad Zerg.
Yeah, and we do have 5 Infestors out on the way. Hive just starting for effOrt. His upgrades are slightly behind with +1, just starting for Carapace and +1 attack. Excuse me, +2 attack being started.
We do have the Templar Archives finishing up here for SOS, getting the charge as well with the additional attack upgrade behind this. It's still anyone's game. The supplies are very even. It's going to come down to the micro and the engagements.
And effOrt, he's going to eventually get the Spore Callers up and trying to defend that, fortify that little position over there so that his opponent, SOS, cannot actually engage into that area. But the problem is, it's a long time before he can actually start fortifying that position with a lot of Spore Callers because he doesn't have any Vipers or Corruptors. And also, he needs to pick the perfect position. If he just picks a wrong position, the Protoss army can go around and attack a different location.
Well, a nice attempt from effOrt to attack that 4th base. Doesn't really do any damage, though. It looks like SOS should be able to secure that pretty easily. The Hive Tech is complete. We have more Corruptors on the way. Lots of Spines and Spores going down around the map, and another expansion being taken from effOrt as well. This is one of the most passive PvZs I've seen in a while here. We haven't seen really much action beyond the Zerglings early on.
Yeah, well, now both players cannot really attack even if they wanted to, because one mistake and the opponent's going to overpower you.
Exactly. That's a very good point you bring there, S&M.
+1 Carapace out on the way, 2nd Spire down, which means that he's going to completely transition and focus on the air upgrades. 5th hatchery being cancelled by a couple of Zealots, but effOrt already had up to 4 bases, excuse me. And a 5th base going up at the left top corner of the map.
Well, looks like the +3 attack starting now for SOS. He's getting the +2 shields behind this. Some Archons added into the mix. The Swarm Host being annoying, but not actually really doing too much. We have the +2 attack about to finish here for effOrt, and his +2 armor is on the way as well, I believe. We have Storm as well in this army, so these guys need to attack each other, man. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Usually Zerg players, when they stick to Hydra, Roach composition, and then adding in some other units here and there, they go for a 220-minute timing, but effOrt couldn't do it because some of the Hydras got caught earlier in the game. And what usually happens in PvZ is the Zerg player, when they max out quickly, they try to attack their opponent as much as possible, taking out the expensive units like Void Rays, Colossus, and then trying to make sure that the Protoss does not get too many Void Rays and Colossus out. But effOrt couldn't do so, and now we're in a stalemate between the 2 players, except effOrt, he wants to stay a little bit more aggressive.
That's right.
You saw the building, right?
Now saw the Nidus network get created here. Zealot run by not going to do anything over here. There's one Zealot left. These Zealots over here could potentially do some damage, though. It looks like that hatchery will fall pretty fast unless there's a lot of reinforcements that come very soon there. The Swarm Host not going to attack those Zealots there, so it looks like that hatchery will end up going down. I feel like that was a little bit sloppy play from effOrt there. I guess his multitasking is focused somewhere else.
Now, how is a Nidus Swarm going to be used? What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, you missed the cannon, man. You missed the cannon.
It always happens when I try to ask you a question.
Well, a Nidus play remains to be seen. I think we could see it maybe pop up in the main base, though, at some point in the game when SOS has his army somewhere else. Ooh, War Prism in the main base of effOrt, but taken out very easily. Excellent snipe there. And now it looks like SOS deciding to press forward here. Good Fungals going down on the Void Race here.
He needs more Fungals, and nice Fungals once again on the Void Race, but that's a high count. The Templars are also coming back from behind. So this fight is going to be a stalemate, but this Zealot inside the main base gets taken out.
Yep. before you can even say anything. The Zealots here, though, there's nothing to deal with them, and they're going to hack away on this base here. They have +3 attack, +2 shields, and yeah, just upgrades continuing from both ends here with +1 armor, +3 shields for the Protoss player. The Zerg player is getting just a lot of everything right now, pretty much.
I'm just surprised that efOrt's not using the Nidus Worm right now. Yes, he could use it inside the main base, but also because how he is expanding around the map, he could put a Nidus Worm around there and make sure that once Zealots arrive in that position, he could use the Nidus to go there and defend easily, just like how it was used in Brood War.
By the way, I'd like to point out that the Protoss player actually has more bases than the Zerg.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, but it's what's happening up. DTs here as well, they're going to be able to kill off a lot of the units there. And the Archon count looking pretty dangerous here. That's just a lot of units that you do not want to see as a Zerg player. The DT's doing a great job here, hacking away at a lot of these units. But the problem is that's not the main attack from the Protoss player. You know, the DTs are just there for defense more than anything. Oh, here's where we may see that Nidus play. Did you see the cannon?
I did not see the cannon, but I see the Nidus.
All right, the Nidus going down to the main base. We're going to need to see some defense here from SOS. He's pressing forward, though, going for the attack. He has got a really close to invincible army. There are only a few units in this Nidus as well, and this is going to kill off all of the tech for effOrt here.
effOrt needs to start rebuilding the tech around the map right now. He knows that it's going to go down. Few Zerglings in the Hydras inside the main base. It's not scary at all.
Now the DTs will be able to easily defend against this attack here. And SOS, he's going to press forward now towards these other bases. Oh, we have a big potential engagement going on here. Fungals hit the Archons, and excellent storms going down on, well, both sides of the army here. Fungals hitting the High Templar, and the Void Rays won't be enough, though. It looks like the AoE from our Protoss player, it's just too much.
I don't know why effOrt actually engaged into that. The Archons were in perfect position. Nice Fungals go down, but the Corruptors cannot actually touch the Void Rays and the Colossus as the Archons are still alive and well.
There's more Locust reinforcements here. But the Corruptors, I believe, outnumber the Void Rays. Now the Void Rays getting destroyed here, and
now remember, this army is crap, which means that once he takes out the Archons, he can take out the Colossus no problem.
So those Corruptors have to be very, very careful there. Don't want to get hit by too much of the splash AoE there.
There we go. Only one Archon left, and that's really low in HP, so that forces SOS out of that position, but not until he takes out one and possibly the second Colossus.
So excellent defense by effOrt there. I actually thought that, you know, it would be a little bit more one-sided, but he had good positioning. He had lots of swarm hosts as well as Corruptors, and we have another Nidus Swarm being created here. The Overseer as well to join the army. The DT may be able to hack away at that Nidus Swarm before it completes. Indeed it does. Now, lots of charge lot reinforcements here with the Archons and Storm in the back.
He needs perfect fungals because this is like watching Zhangbi versus Soki once again.
Well, there's your perfect fungal, man.
He needs more than that to actually take out the Zealots. 3 fungals going down. Is there one more?
Nice storms, though, hitting the Swarmos. They're going to be able to completely decimate those units there. You know, you don't even need detection at this point to deal with those. A few Swarm hosts being sent out here from this Nidus Swarm. They're going to start assaulting the other bases of SOS here. He's going to have to eventually deal with those.
Yeah, how do you take out the Archons at this point?
The Archons, you need a lot of Roaches, or you need Broodlords. You need something heavy to tank them, but the army composition from effOrt right now, it can't really deal with this charge lot Archon, especially fully upgraded army composition.
And that's the problem, because these Archons are just eating away on every single base. effOrt is going down. Look at his camera right now. He's furious. He knows that he's in a not great position against his opponent, SOS.
SOS has done a great job defending against these constant harassments from effOrt, by the way. The DT tech, great decision, great choices here. The Zealots moving in here with the Archons. They're killing off effOrt's last base. GG is called. SOS takes game number 3 over effOrt.
Seems like Protoss players are handling the Corruptor-based army well from Zerg players, as soon as the Void Rays and Colossus gets taken out, they go for mass Charge Lot, mass Archon.
The tech switch, it's brutal, but if you're not ready for it from the Zerg standpoint, then it can spell your doom like it did there for effOrt. He did show a pretty solid game there, I want to say, but SOS is just too good of an opponent, and effOrt was not able to take him out. So the score 1-2 with WOONGJIN Stars in the lead. The next match will be Hydra against Free. Don't go anywhere. This is the SK Planet Pro League.